What is up, everyone? Welcome back to Baby Prospects, and it's time for Super Regionals. What an exciting regionals that was in the NCAA tournament, and super exciting matchups. A lot of underdogs have advanced, including Evansville, the Purple Aces, and they are going to have their work cut out for them. They're taking on #1 Tennessee. But big shout out to Evansville. We're going to talk about all these matchups fairly briefly, but I do want to run through it, give some quick previews and predictions. But shout out to the Evansville Purple Aces and Kenton Deverman, who threw 8 strong against East Carolina, and they took the tournament. They have a great lineup with guys like Chase Hug and Mark Schallenberger I've talked about. Other guys as well, like Simon Sherry, just guys who can straight up hit. Now, that doesn't mean it's going to be easy at all. They're taking on the #1 team in the country. Clearly, Tennessee is going to be the heavy favorites here. With, of course, I mean, these are guys that are going to be drafted. Some of these guys on Evansville might as well, but from Tennessee, Christian Moore, Billy Amick, and then you got pitchers like Drew Beam, and of course, Aaron Combs. All these guys were fantastic, and just a stacked roster. But Evansville, they ain't playing. They're going to try to advance to the College World Series, and that would just be amazing. So it's kind of a David-Goliath matchup right here. And I mean, if I had to predict, I would have to take Tennessee in this one. I think Evansville will win at least one game. I think it's going to be closer than people think, because right now the Purple Aces are rolling. They are the hot hand. Obviously, Tennessee is hot too, and they're just completely stacked. All these teams are hot. They're in Super Regionals for a reason, but really love what Evansville is doing. UConn took out Duke, took out Oklahoma, and won the tournament at Norman. So they on OU's turf. They took them out. They won 2 games against Oklahoma. They lost 1. Oklahoma did force a game yesterday, but UConn took them out 7-1 behind a pitcher named Gabe Van Eman, who threw 7+ shutout innings. And then Stephen Quigley, who pitched multiple times during the tournament and was excellent, came in relief to finish the job. Corey Morton was amazing at the plate. Luke Broadhurst, and just this entire lineup for UConn. It's a very experienced team. They have a lot of graduate students who are like 25, 26 years of age. So it's a veteran team, if you will, and a team that is just really good and just knows how to win. And they're going to have to know how to win if they expect to get past Florida State, who swept regionals against Stetson and University of Central Florida. Obviously, they have big name guys who are going to be in the pros, maybe in the big league someday, like Cam Smith and James Tibbs III. Great pitching. Jamie Arnold, Connor Whitaker, Carson Dorsey was fantastic. So it's a stacked team. Florida State every night has a good arm out there, and they have an elite lineup. But UConn, like I said, an experienced team, and they're going to put up a good fight. A very good fight. I would take, I mean, I'm not going to pick all the favorites, but I think Florida State will edge it out if I had to predict. But it'll be another tight one right here, an exciting matchup right there. And then Kansas State. I don't believe they've ever been to the College World Series. Correct me if I'm wrong, but they took out Hagen Smith and Arkansas behind Kalen Culpepper and great pitching. Tyson Neighbors, who came out of the bullpen, but he is dominant. Jackson Wentworth, and a lot of great arms for Kansas State against #12, Virginia. And Virginia, of course, just, again, this is similar matchups. It's like one team, kind of the underdogs. They got a lot of really good players, but they're not like high draft pick type guys. Whereas the other team, in this case, Virginia, have exactly that. Guys who are expected to go in the first, second round. Guys like Griff O'Farrell, guys like Ethan Anderson, Henry Ford, Jay Woolfolk on the mound, and just a lot of really good, solid, more than solid, top prospect players for Virginia. But in this particular case, like I said, I'm going to pick some underdogs. I think obviously Virginia will be the heavy favorites again, but I love what Kansas State is doing right here. And you know, if I had to pick one of these top 3, if one of the underdogs are going to win, I think I love Evansville. I love UConn. I love what they're doing. But I'm going to say Kansas State takes out Virginia and wins that series. These are best of 3 series. Then you have West Virginia, who I did pick to advance. They won. Obviously, here they are. They're going to be taking on number 4 North Carolina. West Virginia, clearly J.J. Weatherholt is their big name guy, but Sam White, also awesome. Aiden Major on the mound. This is a lineup that took out Ryan Johnson of Dallas Baptist. Nobody thought. They thought Ryan Johnson was going to dominate. Obviously, he's one of the best pitchers in college baseball, if not the best. But West Virginia took him out, and they won the series. And now they're heading on to Super Regionals to take on a very strong North Carolina team behind Vance Honeycutt. And they also have solid guys on the mound as well. Guys like Derek Clark and etc. This is a comeback team. This is a team that doesn't give up in North Carolina. They had the walk-off from Gavin Gallagher, and a very, very strong team in North Carolina, clearly ranked number 4 in the country. But I'm sticking with West Virginia. I'm on the West Virginia train. I told you I was going to pick some underdogs, so I got 2 underdogs here of these first 4 matchups. I got West Virginia advancing and Kansas State advancing, whereas I think that UConn and Evansville will both put up good fights and could take it. But I would have to lean towards Tennessee and Florida State if I had to pick. So there you have it. Obviously, North Carolina, ranked number 4 in the country, going to be heavy favorites, but I'm really loving what I'm seeing from West Virginia. And I think that they're going to have a good chance to advance. I'm going to pick them to do so. Obviously, predictions are just predictions. Like, who knows what's going to happen, but these are some really fun matchups. That's what we do. I do believe strongly that we're going to have some exciting baseball. Super exciting baseball in the Super Regionals. And then there's 4 more matchups. Oregon State heading to number 2 Kentucky. And when I think Oregon State, I think Travis Bazzana. He's my number 1 prospect. He's kind of, a lot of rankings have him as the number 2, expected to go 2 overall. If I had the number 1 pick, I'm taking Travis Bazzana. This dude is an absolute machine. 28 bombs, 419 average. And that's not it. They got other guys. They got Dallas Macias. They got Micah McDowell. They got dudes. And they're going to be heading to KU, who, of course, also got guys like Ryan Waldschmidt, etc. It's an elite lineup, a lineup that just from top to bottom can hit. They got pitchers like Trey Poozer. He was unbelievable. I mean, just ice cold out there on the mound, a gritty guy who is he's going to pitch well, I'm pretty sure. So this is a tight matchup as well. Oregon State at Kentucky. I'm going to be rooting for Oregon State. I want to see Travis Bazzana in the College World Series. I'm going to take Oregon State to win that one, even though they're lower ranked. But both of these teams, I mean, 15-2 is closer than it sounds in baseball. Anybody could take this one. So that's going to be an exciting matchup right there. I'll take Oregon State. NC State at Georgia. Charlie Condon, of course. Corey Collins as well. They just have a lot of really good hitters, really good pitching. This is a team, though, Georgia, they did sweep their series, but it wasn't all easy. The Army played them tight. They barely squeaked by Army. They barely got by Georgia Tech. So it's not like Georgia's destroying everybody. They did win pretty convincingly the second game of regionals, but Georgia, I think, a very stacked team, but a team that can lose. They can be beatable. And North Carolina State, who also swept their regional behind guys like Garrett Pennington and Eli Serrano, an extremely impressive team as well. They are going to be going out there and trying to knock off Georgia in Super Regionals. It's taking place at Georgia. I would have to go with Georgia here, and I kind of hope Georgia advances. I mean, it would be cool to see NC State take them out as well. I mean, I'm not really sure who to root for here, but I would love to see some of the best players in college baseball, like Charlie Condon, in the College World Series. So that's kind of why I might kind of root for Georgia there, and I think I'm going to pick Georgia to take that one. And yeah, Florida, a team that didn't have a great season, and a lot of people are like, I don't think they should have been in the tournament. I think you have to really earn your way, and there were so many teams that had incredibly better records. I know, strength of schedule and all that, but you're in the SEC. You're supposed to beat SEC teams, and they didn't have the greatest season, but they showed up in regionals. They took out Oklahoma State in Stillwater, and Oklahoma State is a team that is absolutely stacked. They have an incredible lineup. I love Oklahoma State's lineup, and Jack Caglione was one of the names behind that dude who can rake and he can pitch. He wasn't perfect on the mound, obviously. He gave up some big hits in Stillwater, but if he doesn't pitch well, he's probably going to hit well. He's just a dominant guy. He's another one of those big name guys expected to go very high in the first round. Then you got Clemson and good pitching like Aiden Knack. And you got big name guys there as well, like Cam Canarella and guys in that lineup. Jake and Hinderleiter went 5 for 5 the other day. And it's just a team that can rake all around. This is going to be a good matchup. I know Florida's not ranked, but they seem to have found their stride here in the postseason, and I think it's going to be a fun one right here. I think Florida might actually surprise Clemson, and this one is probably going to go 3. It's going to go to the end, and I think Florida, despite I just said I don't even think they should have been in the tournament, but I think they're catching some fire right now, and I think as they took out Oklahoma State and Carson Bench and all that incredible team in Oklahoma, I think that they are going to take out Clemson, and I'm going to say Florida advances to the College World Series. And then you have Oregon at Texas A&M, the final matchup we'll discuss here. Texas A&M is a team I'm super excited about. They're hitting home runs like it's going out of style. I believe they broke the school record for home runs in a season, and they just have multiple dudes who can go deep at any given moment. Jace Laviolette is one of them. Ale Camarillo is one of them. They got multiple dudes, and they got a pitcher by the name of Kevin Sider who threw a shutout, a 9-inning shutout. Funny thing is, he'll get drafted, and a Major League Baseball team will let him go like 3 innings. We got to pull you. You're at pitch limit, yet here he is in college going 9, throwing shutouts. But I digress. So that is a stacked team in Texas A&M. Oregon clearly 40-18. Can't be ignored. Can't be put aside because they are a great team as well. The Ducks, they took out UC Santa Barbara, and I picked UC. I thought UC Santa Barbara was going to take that regional, and no, Oregon took them out. So cannot ignore them. I have to take Texas A&M as my pick, but obviously Oregon has got talent up and down their roster. So it's going to be a fun matchup. A lot of fun matchups in this one. A lot of big underdogs. Teams like Evansville. Last year, a couple teams made it. Oral Roberts, who unfortunately didn't play well. They did make it to regionals, but they got just destroyed by Oklahoma, and Duke took them out as well. So I was hoping Oral Roberts was going to make it back to at least super regionals. Didn't happen. But there are teams like Evansville. There are teams like Yukon. There are teams like Kansas State. A team even like Florida, even though Florida's a big name team, but they didn't have a great season, and they're catching fire right now. So a lot of underdogs, a lot of big name guys, a lot of top draft picks are here. Guys who are going to go number 1, number 2, and number 3 overall are in super regionals. Going to be super exciting, and I can't wait. I won't be able to do any play-by-play of these games, but once the College World Series kicks off, we will have some footage and some play-by-play there, and we'll definitely recap this super regional when it's over and do a College World Series preview as well. But let me know who you think is going to take these games. Put your predictions down below and let me know what you think, because there's only 16 teams left, and after this there will be 8. So it's going to be super fun. You guys have a great day. Hit that thumbs up, hit that subscribe if you enjoyed the video. We'll talk to you next time.